catching up with Brian Baldinger of NFL Network. Brian, all these fans filling up on the hill here, they want to see Russell Wilson. How good do you think this Broncos team could be this year?
I think the sky's the limit. I think defensively they're really talented, and offensively Russell makes them better day one. And just his work ethic and the way that he plays the game, he can elevate a lot of people around him. He did in Seattle for a decade, and I expect him to do it here.
After the way things ended there in Seattle, you think he has something to prove here?
Well, I think he always feels that way, but I feel like, he wants to be legendary, and he's been to a couple Super Bowls. He's won one. That was a great run, but I think, as you've seen with guys like Peyton Manning and Tom Brady, if you can do it in another place, and continue, you can only build your legacy from there. And so I think that's the mission. Get back to the Super Bowl and win another one or two.
He's trying to mesh his offensive style with Nathaniel Hackett's offense here. What do you think this thing's going to look like? Because they have two pretty good running backs behind him.
It's not going to be an abandonment of the running game. It's going to be a part of it. But I think that, both these backs catch the ball really well. Melvin Gordon is excellent. Javante's excellent. So, the screen game, check down game, I think those guys would be a part of it. But, Russell has made a name for himself by being one of the best, if not the best, deep ball thrower in this league. And so the one thing, if you're a receiver in this offense, is you can never go to sleep. You never know where he can find you because of the Houdini act that, he's shown the whole league. So every play is alive. And so scramble drills are as big a part of this offense as the offense.
I know before the draft last year, you did a little something with Quinn Miners coming out of Wisconsin Whitewater. Where do you see his game? Where is he now as they try to transition to this zone scheme?
Yeah, well, he's gotten lighter. He looks like he's in better shape. I saw him a couple weeks ago at Offensive Line Masterminds in Dallas, and he's learning from some of the best. Mark Schlereth was there, and Steve Hutchinson, and Willie Roaf. So he was learning from, he could have been doing anything early in July. He was off, but he was there learning. It tells me that, he wants to become better and great. And so we did a lot with our hands there and just hand placement and how to use it. But this offense, the zone scheme is what the whole league is going to. It's a great play. The backs have to learn how to run it. They got to learn how to mesh with the offensive line. And so all these practice days are important. But I think Quinn is going to be a solid, if not a great, offensive guard.
I'm sort of curious, as a former offensive lineman, Nathaniel Hackett, he's been trying to rotate these guys in. He wants them to learn all the positions along the offensive line. The kind of contrasts, that idea of we want our five best guys to really gel together. What do you think about that?
Well, I think you should cross-train guys. I think you should play them in different positions because the fact is that on a lot of game days you're only dressing 7 offensive linemen. Maybe 8 at the most, but 7 in most places now. So you're trying to go as thin as you can there, and injuries happen during games. You got to be able to plug guys in. They've got to know what they're doing. They got to feel comfortable with what they're doing. And, he just came from Green Bay where they basically played without their 2 starting tackles most of the season. And so they went with a lot of young guys and experienced guys, but those practice reps helped those guys, and it helped them get through Sundays. And I'm with Nathaniel on that whole philosophy.
And the last one for you here, Baldy, is I know you're bouncing around the league, checking out all these different teams. What do you think about this AFC West?
Well, look, you could go through the history of this league. There's been some power. I came out of the NFC East when it was the dominant division in football. And so you always look at those division games, and that's you got to win in the division. You got to win the division to make sure that you get to the playoffs. And so they're all going to be, to me, instant classics, every one of them. They start Week 1 this year with the Raiders and the Chargers. It's finishes off on what we saw in Week 18 in overtime, win by the Raiders to get into the playoffs. And so that's a classic game. Kansas City and the Chiefs have been classics. Denver played the Chiefs tough last year. They couldn't finish the game out, but that's what Russell Wilson's here for now.
Best division in football?
I think so, right now.
All right, Baldy, appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.